Everyone, I am Sneha, co-founder of Web3 Compass, and welcome to Build with Stylus, a developer-focused series to help students and builders start building on Arbitrum using languages that they already know with the help of Stylus. Stylus lets you write smart contracts in familiar languages like Rust, C++, Go, and more, making it super easy, faster, and more efficient to bring your ideas on chain. Each episode in this series is hands-on and practical, while we guide you step by step from setup to deployment to help you launch the first dApp using Stylus. This series is brought to you by Namaste Arbitrum, a young initiative growing the builder Arbitrum ecosystem in India through education, content, and real-world projects, with Web3 Compass is technical partners. And for Web3 Compass, you can head to our website, you can go to our YouTube channel. We're just a platform for builders, by builders, teaching everything about Web3 and AI with the help of curated campaigns. So you will see a lot more of us. Let's get started. Once Arbitrum made the leap to WebAssembly with Nitro, a new door opened. And the question practically asked itself, if we can run WASM now, why not let developers write smart contracts in actual high performance languages? Why not support Rust, C, C++, Go? The same languages powering operating systems, video games, embedded hardware, and high-frequency trading platforms. These aren't niche tools like Solidity. These are serious mainstream languages with decades of maturity, rich tooling ecosystem, and a massive global developers base. The idea became Arbitrum Stylus. Now, this was not a replacement to EVM. It was just a leap of faith, and that's an important detail. It's designed to run alongside, not just in isolation. That means if you're already working or writing smart contracts in Solidity, you don't need to stop. You've put in the work, you know it, you write it. Everything still works. Arbitrum still runs EVM bytecode just like before. But now, thanks to Stylus, Arbitrum runs with a new execution path. One that lets you write contracts in Rust, C, C++, compile them down to WASM, and deploy them directly on Arbitrum. The result is wild. The contracts are way cheaper in compute cost compared to the same logic written in Solidity. We are talking about orders of magnitude improvements here, and not just in gas cost. Stylus contracts execute way faster too. That opens the door to a completely new class of on-chain applications. And to be honest, EVM was never built for heavy compute. It doesn't support floating point math, it doesn't do multi-threading, it's hard to optimize, and even basic operations like string manipulation or complex calculations are pretty awkward and expensive. That's fine for DeFi protocols and DAO votes. But if you're trying to build anything that pushes the limits, like games, real-time simulations, AI agents, or a high-speed data processing, the EVM is like trying to run a 3D game on a graphing calculator. Stylus fixes all of that. It lets you bring in the kind of performance you would expect from traditional software development right into the smart contract layer. You get access to efficient memory management, fast loops, proper data structures, and standard libraries that don't just exist in Solidity. And what's more, you are not limited to writing entirely in Rust or entirely in Solidity. You can just have a hybrid app where your EVM contracts calls a Stylus module or vice versa. It's all happening on the same chain. No bridging, no wrapping, no weird hacks, just clean interop between two execution environments. Another huge win. Developer onboarding, because Solidity has a pretty steep learning curve. If you are a Rust or C++ dev, jumping into Ethereum usually means starting over. New language, new tools, new mental models. With Stylus, you don't have to do that. You can write contracts in a language that you already know. Use standard debuggers and IDEs and take advantage of years of best practices from the system programming world. And it's not just about making things easier. It's about enabling things that were basically impossible before. Maybe you want to run an on-chain chess engine that actually calculates moves, or a lightweight AI that can evolve and learn, or an MMO style game where character logic entirely lives on-chain. Stylus makes that not just doable, but performant and cost-effective. So in a way, Nitro was the groundwork. It was the infrastructure that laid the path. But Stylus is the unlock. It takes everything that wasn't made possible and hands it directly to developers, not in some hypothetical future, but right now. Stylus isn't just about writing contracts in Rust or saving gas. It quietly introduced something which was way more powerful. A whole new way of thinking about blockchain, what a blockchain can be. It introduced the idea of a multi-VM paradigm. Now, traditionally, every blockchain, as you can see on the screen, has been tightly coupled to a single virtual machine. Ethereum has the EVM. Solana uses BPF. Starknet runs on Cairo. The choice of VM depends on what kind of code you write, which languages you can use, and what kind of dApps are possible. But here's the problem. No single virtual machine is good at everything. The EVM is great for simplicity and security, but bad at performance. And BPF is fast, but notoriously hard to work with. Cairo is custom built for proving, but unfamiliar to most of the developers. By the way, it's an amazing language. What Stylus does almost quietly is break that pattern. By running WASM alongside the EVM, Arbitrum becomes a multi-VM chain. Yup, not a chain that switched from one. As you can see the entire architecture on the screen, one side is EVM, which talks about solidity, EVM bytecode, and then Arbitrum Nitro, and then there's multi-VM, which has solidity, which can run in EVM bytecode, while we have Rust, C++, C, Go, and other languages that compiles to WebAssembly, and both of them works amazingly in Arbitrum Nitro. And yeah, that's it. Keep learning, keep building. Follow Namaste Arbitrum and Web3 Compass on Twitter and all the social medias for more guides, supports, updates, and yeah, fun ideas to discuss to build in Web3. And I'll see you in the next one. And it's going to be a fun one. Trust me.